It's impossible to let him go. That's the constant struggle with me. That's the fight that we've got in the business all the time. You know, I pour my love into them, and when it's time for them to leave, it does hurt a little bit.
For 10 seasons, Counting Cars was a global hit, and then it was shut down in silence. No finale, no goodbye. Fans were left with one question: why? Now we know the truth. It all started with a terrifying discovery, a betrayal so deep it tore the shop apart. The silent shutdown. For nearly a decade, Counting Cars was a powerhouse. It started as the third spin-off of the smash hit Pawn Stars. Fans all over the world loved watching Danny the Count Coker and his team turn rust into rolling art. The show was a massive success for the History Channel, running for 10 long seasons, and then in 2021, it just stopped. New episodes stopped airing. The show that was once everywhere suddenly vanished from the schedule, but there was no announcement. The History Channel never officially said Counting Cars was canceled. They just let it go dark. This silence was almost worse than a cancellation. It left millions of fans confused, asking the same question: what happened? A show this big does not just disappear without a reason. Was it the cast feuds? Was it the money? The answer is darker than you can imagine. The cameras stopped rolling, and the network went silent because of what was happening when the cameras were off. To find the truth, we have to go back. Back to a time when the shop was at its peak, and a betrayal was taking root right under Danny Coker's nose. The thief inside the shop. Danny Coker built his shop, Count's Customs, on a simple idea: trust. He called his team his family. He poured his heart and soul into the business. He was born into the car world. His own father worked for the Ford Motor Company. Cars were in his blood. He was the creative genius, the face of the brand. But while Danny was out hunting for cars or in the paint booth, he needed someone to run the office. He needed someone to handle the money. In 2016, the shop hired a man named Joseph Frontiera. His job was to manage the shop's accounts. He was in a position of total trust. He had access to everything, and he betrayed that trust in the worst way possible. It did not happen all at once. It was a slow poison. Soon, money started to go missing, but it was not just a few dollars here and there. Joseph Frontiera was accused of siphoning a massive $75,000 from the company's accounts. Where did that money go? The company lawsuit said he used it to live a life he did not earn. He allegedly used the company's money to buy personal airline tickets. Even worse, he reportedly used the shop's funds to make a down payment on his own personal Range Rover. He was living the rock star life, funded by the hard work of the men in the garage. But stealing $75,000 was not even the most dangerous part of his plan. Frontiera was not just stealing, he was actively sabotaging the business. He also failed to pay the company's taxes on time. This was not a small mistake. This was a disaster. Because of his failure, the IRS slammed Count's Customs with a massive $18,000 penalty. Frontiera was pushing the entire company toward a cliff. He was stealing from Danny with one hand and setting him up for a war with the government with the other. But how did one man get away with so much? How did he hide it for so long? The answer is the most terrifying part. It was not just about the money he stole. It was about what the team found. A discovery that proved this was not just a crime of opportunity. It was a cold, calculated plan to gain total control. The terrifying discovery. When Danny and his team finally realized what was happening, they dug into the books. They found the missing $75,000. They found the $18,000 IRS penalty. But then they found it. The one thing that turned this from a simple theft into a nightmare. Joseph Frontiera had not just been moving numbers, he had taken over their identities. The lawsuit, filed in March, laid out the terrifying discovery. Frontiera had gone to a print shop and had signature stamps made. Whose signatures? Daniel N. Coker II and his best friend Kevin Mack. He did this without their consent. He did this in secret. think about what that means. A signature stamp is not just for one check. A signature stamp is unlimited power. Frontiera did not have to forge Danny's name. He could just stamp it. Legally, perfectly, every single time. He did not just steal $75,000. He could steal everything. With those stamps, he could have stamped checks until the bank accounts were empty. With those stamps, he could have signed contracts in their name. With those stamps, he could have sold the shop's cars, the very cars you saw them build on TV. He could have signed loan documents, putting the company millions of dollars in debt, and Danny and Kevin would have been responsible. The $75,000 was just what they caught. The terrifying discovery was the potential. The realization that for months, a man in their office had the power to destroy their entire lives, their company, and their family legacy with a simple piece of rubber and wood. This was not a mistake. This was not a one-time thing. This was a plan. The discovery sent a shockwave through the company. The man they had trusted was a phantom. Danny had to act fast. He brought the law down on Frontiera, but the man who betrayed them was already gone. Danny Coker did exactly what you would expect. He filed a lawsuit to get the company's money back. This was not just business. This was personal. The legal system moved in. Las Vegas Justice Court records show that Frontiera was charged in September with felony theft. A warrant for his arrest was issued, but the warrant was never served. Why? Because Joseph Frontiera had vanished. He was not in Las Vegas. He was not in Nevada. According to the attorney representing Counts Customs, Frontiera was living in Florida. He was out of their reach. The case stalled. Frontiera's attorney simply filed a motion to dismiss the case. Counts Customs had also aimed its legal guns at the hiring company that gave them Frontiera in the first place, a firm called Randstad. The lawsuit claimed this company failed to tell them about Frontiera's past, which allegedly included other charges of embezzlement. But that lawsuit fell through too. In the end, there was no justice. Reports say Frontiera did end up paying the $18,000 tax bill he created. But what about the $75,000 he stole? What about the signature stamps? He was gone. The thief had vanished. The man who held their lives in his hands was free. The damage was done. The money was lost. But the real cost was something far greater. The trust inside Counts Customs was shattered. The family was broken. And in the chaos, confusion, and paranoia that followed, the wrong man was about to be blamed. The wrong man accused. The Frontiera betrayal happened behind the scenes. It was a secret, hidden in legal papers. But on screen, fans were already seeing cracks in the armor, and it all centered on the other money guy. Before Joseph Frontiera, there was Scott Jones. If you watched the first 2 seasons, you remember Scott. He was the manager. He was the guy who also handled the bookkeeping. His entire job was to be the bad guy, to walk into the shop and shut down the fun. Fans of the show know Scott had a very in-your-face attitude and was not soft-spoken. We all saw the arguments. Danny would find a car he loved, a car he had to have. He would get that look in his eye, ready to spend a fortune. And then Scott would show up. Scott's main job was to make sure the shop actually made a profit. This led to constant on-screen disagreements and arguments about money. Danny was the artist, but Scott was the businessman. Then, after season 2, Scott Jones vanished. He was a main cast member, and then he was gone. There was no explanation, no goodbye. For years, fans wondered what happened. And when the news later broke that an employee was fired for stealing $75,000, everyone pointed their finger at the same person, Scott Jones. The rumors flew. They said Scott was the one fired for embezzlement. It made sense, did it not? He was the money guy. He argued with Danny, and then he disappeared. The gossip became so popular that it was reported as fact. Scott, the no-nonsense manager, was a thief. The terrifying discovery had created a cloud of suspicion so thick that it swallowed an innocent man. The fans were wrong. The rumors were fake. Scott Jones was not the thief. The real reason he left is much simpler, but it shows that the team was already starting to break apart long before the big discovery. The real reason Scott left. Scott Jones was not fired. He was not a thief. The truth was finally confirmed in the first episode of Season 3, way back in 2014. The real reason Scott left was for his family. He and his wife had just had a new baby, their son. Scott's priorities changed. The show had often shown that he had a connection to Tennessee, so he made a choice. He chose his family over the cameras. He left the high-stress world of reality TV and moved his new family to Tennessee. He was the first one to get out. Since leaving the show, Scott has kept a very low profile. He has no active social media. He is not in the spotlight. He has stayed completely private. There are rumors that he opened his own shop in Greenville, Tennessee, living a quiet life and prioritizing his family. But back in Las Vegas, the team he left behind was changing. The family was not what it used to be. Scott was gone. He chose family over the show, but he would not be the last one to walk away. Next, another fan favorite would disappear. The team falls apart. The Counting Cars family was the heart of the show, but after Scott left, the break started to show. The next to go was Rolly Sabo. You remember Rolly? He was the unique Hungarian-born detailer. With his thick accent and wild antics, he was a fan favorite. He was the shop cleaner, the guy who did the hard work. And just like Scott, Rolly suddenly vanished from the show. And just like with Scott, the rumors started all over again. Why did Rolly leave? Some fans say he left on bad terms. Others believe he was actually fired. The drama was fueled by the fact that Rolly himself has never given a clear answer. This mystery only made people more sure that something bad had happened. The truth is, Rolly left to chase his own dream. He started his own business in Las Vegas called Rock and Rolly Custom Detailing. His time on Counting Cars had made him famous, and his business was thriving before the pandemic hit. He even posted online about attending a training facility in Quebec, Canada in 2019 to get even better at his craft. But then, Rolly's story takes a sad, real-world turn. The pandemic hit his new business hard. He lost clients and faced major financial struggles. The team was falling apart. Scott was gone. Rolly was gone, fighting to keep his own business alive. The shop was still recovering from the massive betrayal by Joseph Frontiera. The trust was gone. The family was a shadow of what it once was. And then, the one person Danny trusted most, the one man who was there from the beginning, seemed to vanish too. This was the one that worried fans the most. In 2020, as the show returned for its 10th season, fans immediately noticed someone was missing: Kevin Mack. Kevin was not just another cast member. He was Danny's right-hand man. He was Danny's best friend. Their friendship was the foundation of the show. They had been friends for over 20 years. They met riding custom choppers around Las Vegas, long before any TV cameras were involved. On the show, Kevin was the voice of reason. He was the shop manager who had to deal with Danny's wild spending. We saw them argue all the time about budgets. Danny would want to spend a fortune on a paint job, and Kevin would be the one trying to keep the shop in business. He was the one trying to wrangle the crew and keep them focused. In September 2020, fans were excited for new episodes. Even Kevin himself tweeted about the show, but when it aired, he was not in it. He vanished from the show, and nobody said why. Fans were in a panic. This was not like Scott or Rolly leaving. This was Kevin. The rumors went wild. Had their friendship finally broken? Had the stress of the show and the constant fighting about money finally become too much? And then fans remembered the terrifying discovery. It was not just Danny's name on those forged signature stamps. It was Kevin Mack's too. The pressure must have been immense. His best friend, his business partner, his own signature, all betrayed by a man working right next to them. Fans were sure this was the end, that the betrayal, the stress, and the cameras had finally broken the strongest friendship in the shop. The show stopped airing new episodes shortly after. It looked like the end of Count's Customs, but the truth is not what you think. The truth about Kevin Mack. For years, this has been the biggest mystery of the show. Are Kevin Mack and Danny Coker still friends? Yes. According to the latest 2025 updates, Kevin and Danny are still close. The friendship was not broken. The brotherhood is still alive. So where is he? Kevin is still at Count's Customs. He is still the manager of day-to-day business operations. He is still the voice of reason, still wrangling the budgets, and still working with his best friend. He just stopped doing it on television. Kevin Mack did not leave Danny. He left the show. He now contributes significantly behind the scenes. He chose the real business over the reality TV show. After the terrifying discovery of the stamps and years of on-camera fights about money, Kevin retreated. He went back to basics. He and Danny decided to protect the shop, not the show. Kevin was still there, but he was done with the cameras. The family was pulling away from the spotlight one by one. Scott left for his family. Rolly left for his own business. Kevin left the cameras to save the real business. But even with Kevin safe behind the scenes, the show was still dying. Danny was fighting a war on two fronts. He had just survived a traitor inside his company. Now, he was in a new fight, a fight with the network outside his company. Danny's war with the network. The show was on its last legs. The cast was leaving. The trust was broken. And Danny Coker was dealing with a new, massive problem. His face was being used in a scam. Fake ads started appearing all over the internet. These ads claimed that Danny Coker was leaving Counting Cars to sell his own line of CBD oil. The ads were very convincing. They used his image. They even used screen grabs of Danny on Fox News, making it look like he was promoting the fake product. This was fake news. It was a lie. But it spread like wildfire. It got so bad that, according to Danny, people he knew called him up. They said they had ordered the fake CBD oil because they saw him promoting it. And they never got any. Danny was furious. His name and his reputation were being used to scam his fans. He had to hire a legal firm just to fight these lies on social media. But the network officials were not happy. This CBD side hustle was bad publicity. In his own words, Danny said, "The network and I had a falling out over this." Think about the timing. The shop is reeling from the terrifying discovery of the signature stamps. The cast is falling apart. And now, the star of the show is in a falling out with the network. It was the final straw. The internal betrayal from Frontiera, the cast departures, the bad publicity from the CBD scam, and the fight with the network. This is why the show was shut down. It was not one thing. It was everything. The terrifying discovery was the wound that started the bleeding. The network fight was what finished it. Counting Cars was over. The show was bleeding out. And now, in 2025, another piece of his empire is falling. The end of an era, the 2025 shutdown. The silence from the History Channel now makes perfect sense. The relationship was broken. The show was done. For years, even without the show, Danny's empire in Las Vegas continued. His shop, Count's Customs, was a tourist hotspot. And so was his other famous landmark, Count's Vamped Bar and Grill. The vampire-themed bar and music venue was a passion project for Danny. It was a place where his band, Count 77, could play. For years, it was a must-see spot for fans. But now, that is ending too. The latest devastating update comes directly from the official Count's Customs website. Count's Vamped Bar and Grill is officially closing its doors for good. The final day will be June 29th, 2025. First the show, now the bar. The shutdown is real. It feels like the end of an era. The Counting Cars TV show is gone. The bar is closing its doors forever. It feels like the end. But there is one thing everyone forgot. The show is gone. The bar is closing. But the shop is still open. The terrifying discovery and the network shutdown destroyed the TV show. But it did not destroy the Count. Count's Customs is still in business, and it is thriving. Danny Coker still runs the shop, focusing on what he loves, building cars. The shop is still open to the public. You can still tour the museum for free and see his personal collection. And the family, the real family, is still there. Kevin Mack is still in the office, running the business behind the scenes. Ryan Evans, the man Danny calls like a brother and family, is still in the paint booth, laying down his incredible artwork. Horny Mike is still there, building wild, 3D printed creations like his giant pumpkin golf cart. And Danny Coker is still the Count. He is not hiding. In fact, it was just announced that Danny Coker is officially coming to the 2025 Syracuse Nationals. The betrayal, the lawsuits, and the network fights shut down the show. But Danny Coker survived. He cut the toxic parts loose, retreated from the spotlight, and saved what mattered. The show is over. The shop is forever.